Well, welcome along to this interview, and I am delighted to have been asked to host it on behalf of Hilltop Capital Partners, and I'm joined by Andy Keehner, who is Head of Capital Advisory. And Andy, the purpose of this interview is to really educate landlords and property investors about bridging finance. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how bridging is a wonderful tool in the investor's toolbox. Just to get going, first of all, could you give us a little bit of an insight into Hilltop, where you are in the space and the kind of finance you offer?
Yeah, certainly. Hilltop is traditionally a development lender. For a good few years now, we've developed a lot of experience in lending to large-scale new build and conversion projects. We typically look at the £5 million plus scales. However, towards the end of last year, we decided to launch a bridging proposition as well. Now, the bridging proposition has encompassed both a little bit of our own lending, but also an advisory side to go to the whole of the market.
So it's the bridging that we're focusing on for the purpose of this educational video. And let's just go right back to basics and just explain what exactly is bridging finance.
So bridging, I always say, it's whenever you cannot get a mortgage yet, if you think about it in that way. Many people use it in the professional world for BRRR projects. So that's build, refurbish, rent, refinance. So typical sort of auction purchases, things like that, where you need to do something to the property before you can put a mortgage on it, or indeed sell it to somebody who would put a mortgage on it. So that's where the change is.
And also, it's all about speed as well, isn't it?
Yes, quite commonly it's about speed. It's not just about speed though, because there are many situations where it just fits it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a bridge from one place to another. And sometimes you can get very, very complex deals which can still take a bit of time to put in place, but they are serving a very, very good purpose.
So could you give us some examples of when bridging finance would be used? I mean, you've mentioned the BRRR strategy, but there are others, aren't there? Yes,
quite a big thing is chain breaks. So this is where you're trying to purchase a property before you've sold your existing one. This is usually a regulated scenario, regulated in the fact that it's normally your own home that you live in that you're trying to do this. And you've maybe found that perfect dream property in the country that you want to move to. You've got to move quickly, and therefore you want to appear as a cash buyer. But you can't do that because it's going to take you too long to sell your existing home. Therefore, you take out a bridge in between. But there are many, many other different scenarios where bridging finance can come into play.
Auctions is another one as well, isn't it?
Auctions, as I mentioned, typically comes under the BRRR scheme. Conversions, so if you're converting a commercial property into residential, what we're also seeing is a lot of residential houses being converted into HMOs, houses of multiple occupation. It may be student lets, or more commonly now is for professionals, typically for NHS staff, which want that communal living.
So I think, and I wondered if you agree, that I think bridging's become a lot more mainstream probably in the last, 5 or 6 years, and there's a lot better choice of products, and I think landlords and property developers are feeling more comfortable about using it.
Absolutely. There's huge competition in the markets now. If you go back as far as the credit crunch in 2008, where bridging was considered the absolute last thing you wanted to get involved with, the products were very, very expensive. You were looking at typical rates of 2% a month. After the credit crunch, it was realised that bridging can actually come into play a lot better, and we saw a lot more lenders coming into the market, and the rates came tumbling down. And now the rates aren't significantly higher than your standard buy-to-let or maybe complex mortgage rates now. In some situations, they can be quite similar. So there is a lot of competition. There's probably 150, 200 different lenders now offering bridging finance. So to get your head around the market now takes takes a lot of doing.
Well, you're a relatively new entrant to the bridging market. Why did you decide now was the time to come into it? Do you think that the market conditions actually, are creating opportunities where bridging can be used?
Yeah, I mean, I was brought on at the back end of last year. I've been in bridging myself personally for about 10 years now, at various lenders and broking as well. For Hilltop, it's more of the fact that it fits around the development lending that we currently have traditionally done. So another use is for development exit finance. So everybody knows, particularly with the recent pandemic, that buildings, development of buildings were delayed quite significantly, and that's still going on. These developments do take a lot longer than anticipated, and so long that their existing development finance has run out, and they're having pressure put on them by their existing development lender. So a bridge can come in at a later stage of the development to take over their development finance, give them a lot longer to finish the development and exit. That's hence the development exit product. So they've got time then to sell or refinance, or depends on what they're looking to do.
I think the reticence, certainly of less experienced landlords and property investors and developers to use bridging, was they were fearful of getting, a solid exit in place, because you must absolutely have that.
Absolutely.
And you have an exclusive new product that is a bridge that goes to term finance. And could you tell us a little bit about that and how it could be used?
Absolutely. So I spotted an issue with a particular product that's out there when people are looking to title split. So this is where you may have a multi-unit freehold block. There are several self-contained units within that block, and you can often pick these up at a very good investment price. However, if you was to split those blocks up into separate units and sell them off individually, you'd make a significant profit in doing so. And there are some bridging products that allow you to do this, and for people with not a lot of money, to purchase them based on the split value. The issue with these bridging products, though, is that they enforce you to start splitting the titles up on the completion of those mortgages. And unfortunately, you can get stuck with those bridging products, which are very expensive at the same time. So what we said was to eliminate that jeopardy, we've created a product where you can immediately go to a term product without the need to split the titles, because there are lenders out there that will do exactly that. They will lend against a split value. They don't need you to split the titles, so you can go straight to a 5-year interest-only product that it takes away that jeopardy of some of these title splitting products that are out there.
And that's exclusive to Hilltop?
At the moment, it's an exclusive product. It's taken a lot to put together, because the way it works is the issue with some of these lenders that do this, they will only lend against a purchase price, whether it's on a purchase. So what we've got is an investor to come in to make the initial purchase for you, and then immediately refinance onto that term product with that lender.
You've done a couple of these now, haven't you?
We have, yes.
And you actually had one where there was a net cash output from it.
Indeed, yes. The client is purchasing a block of 4 flats. As an investment block, they are being purchased at £300,000. This is up in the northwest. Each individual flat, if they were to be placed onto a long leasehold, would be worth £110,000 each.
Right, so we can do the maths.
Yes, 4 times 110 gives you your 440,000. Yeah. So a significant profit there. And once we've worked out backwards, lending against the 440, they will be coming away with a cashback of around £16,000. Now, of course, they've still got their purchasing costs to come out of that, the stamp duty and solicitors and valuations, obviously.
Of course. Well, just to kind of close this out then, what makes Hilltop special? What sets you apart, do you think?
It's that ability to have the flexibility. And many lenders in particular have rigid policies in place. And you have to tick those boxes before they will lend to you. But here, because we've got the advisory side as well as the lending side, we can kind of piece things together, which is quite a unique thing to have. And therefore, if we see an opportunity and a way that something can be worked, we can develop those new products and tools to assist the market.
So it's not a case of the computer says no.
Absolutely.
Sorry, anybody watching this, would you encourage them, if they've got a project that they think that you could assist with, the best thing is to get in touch and discuss it and go through it with the team? Yes,
absolutely. Yes, please do. We're always there to help sense check a deal as well for you. No charge for that. There's no application or consultancy fee, I should say, just for sense checking a deal, just to make sure that it does actually work. And that's we do quite commonly. And we, sometimes we do have to go back and said, you might want to check this or that, but just to make sure you're not going to lose money on this particular deal.
Well, of course. And just one extra thing I've thought of, Andy. Are you looking for landlords with a certain level of previous experience?
No, not at all.
Okay.
In fact, this product is open to first-time buyers, first-time landlords.
Okay.
So absolutely, when you're looking more at sort of larger projects where you're doing a heavy conversions and things like that, then yes, experience does come into play. But that's not necessarily a stopper, shall we say.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for asking me to host this interview, and we do encourage anybody watching who's interested to head along to the Hilltop Capital Partners website. We'll put a link below the video, and you'll get further information there and also contact details of how to get in touch with the team if you would like to talk about raising some finance with Hilltop. But for now, thank you for watching, and thank you, Andy.
Thank you very much.